Hi, my name is Sarah and I'm a chiropractor in Seattle. I started working with Cody about a month and a half ago. My goals were to rehabilitate a torn rotator cuff that I had torn several months before. I had done physical therapy, I had done massage therapy, and while all that worked really well, it wasn't until I started working with him that I started feeling the true strength gain and mobility and flexibility, getting that back. I came in here with that goal to rehabilitate that shoulder, and I ended up noticing such a drastic improvement in my strength and flexibility, and for me to achieve that in a month and a half is remarkable. I've worked out with personal trainers in the past and really felt like I got some tremendous strength gains, but the difference between working out in a gym setting that I worked out in before, where I was hammering out sets on a piece of Nautilus equipment, is that there's a lot of movement involved. And for me, it makes a lot of sense that in order to gain the truest flexibility and strength, you have to incorporate the two together. So I think the activities away from a confined piece of equipment and climbing on the floor, or climbing a rope, or doing pull-ups, or jumping up and down, things like that, seem to bring the truest strength and flexibility. The thing that I found really interesting with some of the exercises that we do that are more mobility type of training is that it also incorporates the flexibility. So movement during flexibility seems to makes the difference as opposed to just stretching. The other things that we're working on, lots of functional activities like climbing ropes, all sorts of fun stuff like rings. So it's not just getting on a piece of Nautilus equipment and hammering out some reps and sets. So it's a lot of fun too. What are some changes that I've seen in my body? Definitely tremendous increase in flexibility. When I first started, the ability to even stretch that shoulder into something such as a door stretch, where you would go up to a door and stretch in here, was so limited because of my rotator cuff tear. Now I'm doing stretches and hanging from bars that I never thought would have been imaginable for a rotator cuff tear that happened months ago. Pretty remarkable. One of the biggest things I notice is that I used to go home very tired at the end of my day after seeing so many patients. It's a lot of hands-on work. I spend about 15 minutes with each patient. It's hands-on the whole entire time. I was exhausted when I went home and just pretty much falling on the floor at the end of the week. And now I get home and I'm good to go. I don't feel as sore anymore. I'm not as tired anymore. So that's another thing that I truly attribute to my workouts with Cody. Some things that I would recommend for someone who's just coming in to work out here are be ready for a varying sort of workout. That was what was exciting to me, and it just never gets boring. I'm always doing something different each time, which is a lot more fun to me. Be open-minded. You're going to do a lot of things that are a lot different than just being on a piece of equipment and bench pressing or doing things like that. Certainly those are things that you may be doing at some point during your workout. Everyone's very friendly here. I never feel intimidated. I was a little nervous the first time, but everyone's been so friendly and nice to me that I just feel extremely comfortable here. Cody and I are always talking about healthy eating habits. That's one thing that I really enjoy, is that he goes above and beyond in not just teaching me these exercises and not just coaching through the exercises, but recommending different sorts of foods that I can eat as snacks and different recipes. I always look forward to that. And so that's definitely made me more conscious of what I'm eating, how much I'm eating. The biggest thing for me has always been squeezing in that meal in the middle of the day. That's the hardest for me. So it's not necessarily been an overeating thing for me. It's an undereating thing. And so he's taught me how important it is to be fueling the body. You need to continuously fuel the body. But we also talk about portion size and healthy eating choices as well. What are some of my favorite exercises that I like doing in here? There's a rope that I have great difficulty doing, climbing and kind of holding myself up because of the upper body strength. So that's been a good challenge for me. There's a couple of exercises that we do just kind of as a baseline warm-up. I really enjoy doing the squats and going right into lunges, walking across the floor. I feel like that gives me such a good stretch to begin with. It's like I'm doing my exercises, but I'm also getting my good stretching routine. We just started a move today that's one that Cody kind of put together and pieced together and had me go into. So it's kind of one where you go from movement to movement to movement. That's another thing that I really like about some of the things that we've been learning, is that each go into the next. So you start with one skill, and then eventually you've got 5 skills, and you build and put them all together, and they become one functional movement. And I think that's what's really cool about this too. Very different from what I've ever done before. I would say some words of encouragement. Just do it. I mean, yes, you have the rest of your life to work out, but at the same time, none of us are getting younger, although we wish we could. You know, things and injuries happen very easily, and I think it's something that needs to be a preventative type of thing. You're going to feel better. Get yourself through your workout, and you're 100% going to feel better afterwards. That's the biggest thing.